Hi guys, it's Tom from Tom's Random Chatter. I'm back again today. I know it's another quick upload, but I'm back to share another story with you guys. Today, instead of sharing Rocket League and Fortnite, I'll do that later when I can actually find time to get clips. I want to talk to you about my experience with the Boyz and the Boyz nights, with a few stories afterwards. I've had many experiences. My birth, growing up, making my first friend, even playing my first game. But none of these, I mean it, will compare to the nights that I have with my boys. For us, a boys' night is a night where only the boys can hang out. Only the boys. We have fun, make fun of each other, play cards, hell, even have a fire if the weather is suitable. But, in all honesty, I would not be who I am without my boys. They support me in most aspects of my life, including when it comes to making important decisions or if I have to ever do something in general. I need my boys for that. But as you may all presume, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about my experiences with my boys. On my first ever boys' night, I made the biggest mistake that caused me to go home at 7 a.m. the next morning with a trash bag in my hand. I'm very sorry, Cooper. I will make sure that never happens again, ever. That was not a great experience. But, we do what we have to. But that leads us into our second night. It was a night just after a game of volleyball with Cooper and I. But we needed players. So we obviously got Kai in. We got Kai to play. Look at this guy. Do you not want him on your volleyball team? Well, I do. Alright. Bye-bye. Anyways, the second boys' night was probably the most memorable boys' night in my opinion. Because since it was on a Thursday, that means Kai and I still had school the next day. How this boys' night started? Hell, it starts off with a game of cards and a little sweets, if you get what I mean, to go along with it. We played cards, we got mad at each other, we played a bit of shitface because that's a fun game. Thank you, Cooper's dad, for teaching us how to play that game. We have completely forgotten it, but, we do what we want to. But just because we only played cards, it doesn't mean that's all we did. It's mainly me. I came up with the idea to make a short film together, and this short film has not been edited since April. We've got all the clips for it, it just hasn't been done. The Bomber Butcher, once a profound murderer, 15 years ago, stopped a month ago, but now he's back, and he's back for blood. But, we did this until like 2 o'clock in that morning, so Kai and I still had like 5 hours of sleep to catch up on. And this short film was called The Bomber Butcher. And I like to think that we all had fun playing our 3 roles that we had. But, all nights come to an end. So that brings us to the third night. Another memorable one at that. It was a night full of guys trying to figure out why girls are so cool, I guess. Kai finally found love, Cooper found a mistake, and I found nothing but horror. What I mean by horror is that I finally realized that I might have had to start third wheeling my friends. Even more scary after finding out that I might have to fifth wheel them. Luckily in the end, I didn't. Why didn't I have to? Because they never invite me to go do stuff with them. And honestly, good on them. If they want to spend time with their girls, they can go spend time with their girls. Not like, we do what we have to. We do what we have to. But our third night was basically the end of our boys' night era. But that is until this Friday, Australian time. The boys and I are finally getting back together to have a boys' night. No girls, no other things. When I mean girls, I mean... Cooper knows what I mean. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway. Just because that's the end of the Boys Night era, that does not mean I have any more stories to tell to you guys. I've got 3 that I can tell you today. I've got 3. And the first one starts off with a little trip to Subway. Cooper and I, we both had a a defense experience workforce thing. And on our 3rd day, we decided, hey, let's go to Subway. We tried getting our instructors to try dropping us off in the Subway, but obviously because of rules regarding school and them, it would not be good on them to not drop us back where we actually were meant to be, because we still needed to be at school to be counted as present. Anyway, apart from that, after our day, we decided to find Kai and invite him to go on a 4-kilometer trek to Subway. That trek ended up being 6 kilometers because someone, me, lost my drink bottle. But I'll get to that. Anyway, we eventually reached the Subway at least by 5 p.m. whilst the sun was setting on our backs. We all ate our Subways, and Kai ordered a disaster of a sandwich with at least 3 scoopfuls of jalapeno. That's how he found out that he likes spicy things. That's how I found out that the Subway with 3 scoopfuls of jalapeno on it was not a great sight or smell either. But by the time we had finished eating, the sun was already down, and we knew we all had to walk home. Now, back to that drink bottle. We found it on the side of the bridge that we all had to cross to get to Subway. I'm not even gonna lie, we had all presumed that it was drugged because it was just left on its side on the bridge where there's a lot of not so nice people, I guess.
We found my water bottle! Yeah! Yeah!
But, you know, we all presumed it was drugs, so I had to wash the hell out of it as soon as I got home. Luckily for me, the drink bottle was not drugged. Anyway, moving on from that, my next story actually begins on the morning of the 18th of July, 2 days before my friend Cooper's birthday, I think. If I get that wrong, Cooper, I'm so sorry. Anyway, continuing. Cooper, our friend Blake, and me, we all decided that we would go skydiving because that's the date that we booked skydiving. Anyway, continuing. The drive there to the skydiving venue was really chill, and I found it really funny when Cooper's dad asked if we'd all be a bit nervous, but we actually weren't as nervous as we thought we would be. That is until we got on the bus to go to where the plane was. That was a little bit nerve-wracking. Anyway, I think the nerves really hit when we were at least over 10,000 feet in the air and we were getting ready to jump out of the battle bus. For the first few seconds that I was jumping out of that plane, I felt like I was just going to vomit all the time because my stomach wouldn't undrop, I guess you could say. And it was not fun. Not fun. I thought it would drop, but you know, luckily before I felt like I was going to vomit, the parachute was pulled, giving us all a safe flight to the ground. And we all got to control our parachutes and all as well. It was super fun. But to avoid having to file a lawsuit and getting apparently sued, we had to lift our knees up to avoid breaking any bones in our body, specifically our legs. And you might be thinking, is there a mistake in this story? And my answer for you would be yes. There is a mistake in this story. And I'm going to get to that now. After this, we went to Subway, and soon as we got home, I knew that something was wrong, because I ate Subway in the car. But I knew there was something was wrong, because I couldn't even finish my sandwich. That was when I found out that I had gotten food poisoning. For the rest of this day, I was just trying my absolute best not to throw up, but we all know how that ends. It ends up with me being on the side where the toilet seat is closest to my face, where I'm kneeling down, vomiting in the toilet. After many hours of staying at that toilet, we finally all decided that, no, I've got to go home and I've got to test myself for COVID, influenza, or anything else that might be causing the vomiting, because stuff like this has happened before and it turned out to be COVID-19 and a vomit bug. But no, it was just food poisoning today, which is not amazing. And I had this food poisoning for a couple of days. I had to call off work a couple times. I think I even missed like 3 days of school because of it, but you know, we do what we have to. Anyway, this makes me move on to one of my last stories for you today. Funnily enough, that would have to be the start of something new for Cooper and I. A blog about the random things that we do in our life. It started with us coming up somehow with the routine of swimming on Thursday at the pools at 6 o'clock in the morning every Thursday, with like very inconsistent gym sessions a part of it. I don't even know how that's working. Look, I don't even know how we came up with the idea to go swimming at 6 in the morning on Thursday. Thursday to me is just a random day, but you know, I guess now it's swimming day. Speaking of which, today is actually like 11:30 on a Wednesday, so I've got to get up in at least 6 hours to go swimming now. I'm a little bit cooked, but you know, we do what we have to. Anyway, after posting our first blog, we really realized that maybe we should make this into something different. Like, obviously, it was meant to just be an exercise blog, but because of how inconsistent we were, we decided, no, let's just make it a blog about everything we do. If you want to see more on that, there's going to be a link in the description, so please check it out. I think it's pretty worth it. It's probably one of my best jobs as a new content creator, but you know, it is what it is. If you don't want to follow the link in the description, pass it on to your friends. Our channel name is Tom and Cooper Blogs with the Z. You cannot forget the Z at the end of blogs, because that will stuff everything up. And honestly, that brings me to the end of this video today. I'd like to thank you all for having the time or even the purpose to try and watch this all to the end. I know it doesn't really make sense for me to be posting something like this, but you know, it's just a random chatting channel now, so I'm just going to be posting whatever the hell I feel like, whether you like it or not. But I thank you all for watching this video, and I'll have more for you within the next week or so, so thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye!